Hello. When we moved to Streetsville, a small town now embedded in Mississauga, a very large suburb of Toronto in Ontario, Canada, I was reading this book, John Stott, What Christ Thinks of the Church. It's about Revelation chapters 2 and 3. And it completely transformed my view of what we should be looking for in a church. At that point, 5 years out of the Watchtower, we were still in the mode that we found most of our friends and Christians in, which was find a church that works for you, find a church that blesses you. It was John Stott and his analysis of Revelation chapters 2 and 3, along with a study of 1 Corinthians at the same time, that convinced us that we had the wrong idea as to what the motivation should be and what the reason should be for being in any church. Now, John Stott, being Anglican, one of the most influential Anglicans in the world, and voted, by the way, by Time magazine no less, as one of the top 100 most influential people in the world around 2005. John Stott, even in the 1950s when he started to write this book, was thinking in terms of why the church in the West was not moving forward, seemed to be on the retreat before the world, not just the Anglican Church. So in diagnosing why that is so, he gets to the Church of Laodicea in his analysis of Revelation. I'd like to read you what he says about Laodicea and the connections he makes with us. Whenever it was founded, the Church of Laodicea, however it may have prospered in its early history, this church had by John's day fallen on evil days. Consequently, Jesus sends it the sternest of the 7 letters, containing much censure and no praise. It had not been infected with the poison of any special sin or error. We read neither of heretics, nor of evildoers, nor of persecutors. But the Christians in Laodicea are neither cold nor hot, verse 15. They lack wholeheartedness, so that the adjective Laodicean has passed into our vocabulary to describe somebody who is lukewarm in religion or politics or any other sphere. Perhaps none of the 7 letters is more appropriate to the church at the end of the 20th century than this. It describes vividly the respectable, nominal, and rather sentimental, skin-deep religiosity which is so widespread among us today. Our Christianity is flabby and anemic. We appear to have taken a lukewarm bath of religion. In this phrase there is probably an allusion to the hot springs of Hierapolis, which in their way over the plateau became lukewarm, and in this condition discharged themselves over the cliff right opposite Laodicea. And then under the heading, On Fire for Christ, Stott says this: Laodicean religion is like a lukewarm waterfall. But Jesus Christ deserves better treatment than this. He wants his followers to be either cold or hot. I know your deeds, he says. You are neither cold nor hot. I wish you were either one or the other, verse 15. The Greek words are striking, and we are left in no doubt about their meaning. Cold means icy cold, and hot means boiling hot. Jesus Christ would prefer us to be boiling or freezing, rather than that we should simmer down into a tasteless tepidity. Paul told the Roman Christians to be what he had found Apollos to be, namely fervent in spirit, or spiritually at boiling point. We are to maintain the spiritual glow, as Moffat translated this exhortation, and to stir into flame the gift of God that is in us. Our inner spiritual fire is in constant danger of dying down. It needs to be poked and fed and fanned into flame. The idea of being on fire for Christ will strike some people as dangerous emotionalism. Surely, they will say, we are not meant to go to extremes. You're not asking us to become hot gospel fanatics. Well, of course, it depends what you mean. If by fanaticism you really mean wholeheartedness, then Christianity is a fanatical religion, and every Christian should be a fanatic. But wholeheartedness is not the same as fanaticism. Fanaticism is an unreasoning and unintelligent wholeheartedness. It is the running away of the heart with the head. at the end of a statement prepared for a conference on science, philosophy, and religion at Princeton University in 1940, came these words: "Commitment without reflection is fanaticism in action. But reflection without commitment is the paralysis of all action. What Jesus Christ desires and deserves is the reflection which leads to commitment, and the commitment which is born of reflection. This is the meaning of wholeheartedness, of being aflame for God." What Christ thinks of the church, John Stott.